These are 1-minute lightning talks. I think I have everybody I need to have in the room. First up is Leonardo Bonanni from SourceMap.
Hi, I'm Leo. I'm the founder of SourceMap. We're the supply chain mapping company. 5 years ago, we came out of the Media Lab. Why 5 years ago? Because 5 years and 1 month ago, the tsunami that devastated Japan broke just about every supply chain in the world, and companies came to us asking us to tell them where their stuff comes from. It's not about mapping in the traditional sense. Supply chain mapping is about connecting the dots so you know when something happens halfway around the world exactly what impact it's going to have on your business. We help everybody from biotechs see where they have products all over the world so that no patient goes without a dose of life-saving drugs, to candy companies. They want to know what life is like in cocoa farms, hundreds of thousands of them all over the world. SourceMap.com. Happy to talk during the break.
Nadia Cheng from Right Hand Robotics.
So with the boom of e-commerce and companies like Amazon, Blue Apron, and Dollar Shave Club, you can get what you want when you want it, and that's, I mean, it's pretty ridiculous how they're doing that. And you basically do it with no headache. So behind the scenes, a lot of these companies have warehouses that rely on armies of people to move around millions of items across various workflows. These tasks include sorting items, picking items, and putting items into boxes for shipping. And these are tasks that should be and will eventually be automated, but the hardest task to do now is for automation to pick arbitrary items in an unstructured environment. And so this is what Right Hand Robotics is solving. Our technology has 3 main components. We do the vision and perception to see the workspace. We have a robotic hand that can adapt to a large range of items. And the core value of our technology is the machine learning to figure out how to pick up items without knowing what they are ahead of time and how they're presented to the system. Our system is flexible and scalable, so you can easily get things going with minimal capital investment. We're just 2 miles away. If you ever want to come see a demo, I also have a bunch of videos with me. Thank you.
So just a tip, if this is going too fast for you, all of these speakers are in the program. They will also be videotaped. So we have a break right after. You can, go straight over to the person you really want to talk to. But if you sort of lose track of who people are, you can go back into the program and you'll find hopefully the alphabetical sequence is from I think the last names, although there are some exceptions. One coming up right now. Eric Mirandet from Tulip Interfaces.
Hi there, I'm Eric Mirandet. I'm with Tulip Interfaces. Tulip is a manufacturing applications platform that was designed specifically with the manual labor force in mind. Tulip makes building applications like standard work instructions or quality assurance checks or analytics dashboards as easy as building a PowerPoint presentation. Pretty much anybody can build these and then deploy them across the shop floor with the click of a button. So if you were to go to a shop floor today, you'd probably see a lot of standard work instructions printed out on a shelf somewhere. Probably see a lot of paper forms working their way through the different processes. If you went to a new line, you might see somebody with a stopwatch trying to determine exactly how long a particular process is supposed to take. So that's where Tulip comes in. Our platform is pretty simple. It consists of 3 parts, spanning both the digital and physical space. First is our cloud-based web-native software. It works a lot like Google Docs. So in addition to letting you build these applications and then very quickly and easily deploy them across the shop floor, it also lets you collect data from each of these workstations. And then using the latest advances in big data analytics, we leverage this to see actionable insights. Where is your process inefficient and what steps can you take to prevent and remove those inefficiencies? Second is the IoT gateway. This is a physical device that goes out on the shop floor that lets you incorporate just about any sensor into the manufacturing process. It also ties into the existing machinery on the shop floor through the PLC. The third piece are our interfaces. We have an augmented reality projector that's able to visually track and guide complex manual assembly processes, making operators both faster and more consistent. But we work just as well with tablets, ambient displays, touch screens, computers, basically anything that can talk to the internet. So I'm Tulip Interfaces. We have pilots deployed with multiple Fortune 500 companies, but we're still looking for early partnership opportunities. If this sounds like something that might be beneficial, come find me during the break. I think I'm about to lose my mic.
So that was another best practice. It mentioned the name Tulip Interfaces about 10 times in 1 minute. Very good. Charlie Lass from Open Energy Market.
Thank you very much. Hello, my name is Charlie Lass. I've just turned my mic off. That's gone well. Can you hear me? Yes, great. Charlie Lass from the Open Energy Markets. We are the first commercial energy brokerage, thank you very much, an automated commercial energy trading platform. I'm just finishing up my EMBA at Sloan. We've launched this software in the UK where we've saved an average of 10% for every business that's been using the system. Don't need to go into how it works, but we are looking for companies who are looking to save money, which should be most people. We're launching in the US in June, and we are the Open Energy Market. My Twitter handle is @CharlieLass. You can find me in the break. Thank you very much.
I want to just say that I misunderstood his company early on because of the name Open Energy Market. This is not just for people interested in energy. It's actually for, like he said, everyone who wants to save energy. So, next out is Michael Bloor, co-founder of CAD Nexus.
Boeing 787, Airbus A380, Lockheed Martin Joint Strike Fighter. Billions of dollars over budget, billions, and years late. What went wrong? Essentially, failure to communicate and collaborate early on in the design phase, meaning that when they got to put parts together, it didn't work. They found all their problems, gets very costly. Now, these companies do use web conferencing, and they also use virtual reality very extensively. The problem is, in web conferencing, it's very hard to understand the details of 3D data. It's almost impossible. And virtual reality, because of its expense, the way these people have deployed it, it can give them the perspective they need, but the accessibility to that technology is very limited, making it almost useless. What if you could combine web conferencing and virtual reality into one system that can be deployed to everybody in the company in a cost-effective way? Well, then you can address all these problems very early in the design life, meaning you solve the problems before you start putting parts together on the shop floor. You see, that's what IQ3 can do. IQ3 has developed a technology that combines web conferencing and virtual reality into one solution that can be deployed cost-effectively to everybody in the company. See, my name is Michael Bloor. I'm with IQ3, a co-founder. Ali Merchant is with me today, and he's a founder of a company called CAD Nexus, which was a spin-out of MIT Technology. So the link to MIT is through the founding company. Come talk to us. We've got this great solution. Thank you.
I think Michael didn't mention this, but he has a PhD from AeroAstra at MIT. So most of these people... Oh, I'm sorry. This is Ali, actually, of course. Ali has his PhD from there. Next up is Alfonso Perez from New Valence Robotics.
Hi, everybody. My name's AJ Perez. You can call me Alfonso, but that's my dad's name. I go by AJ. I was here as an undergraduate in mechanical engineering. I did my master's in advanced manufacturing, actually on the exact problem that Tulip set out to solve. I segued, and we were focused in the field of additive manufacturing, or better known as 3D printing. The core invention that my co-founders and I spun out of MIT and started the business around was this concept of automated 3D printing. Until we invented that solution, every single 3D printer, when you printed job 1, would sit there until a human showed up and remove the part to start job 2. Essentially, we got the patent around the paper handler or the collator for 3D printing. So we have the most cost-effective solution in the additive manufacturing space for enterprise in that we fundamentally remove the human from the cost equation. Recently, we left stealth mode. We invented the world's fastest metal 3D printing process. So if you're interested in industrial automation, additive manufacturing, or metal 3D printing, please come and talk to me. Thank you.
Next up is Alex Budge from Dynamic Ideas Financial. He's a co-founder.
So raise your hand if you would like to pay less in taxes, spend more on things you want, and protect your financial future. Okay, go ahead and keep your hands up if you know how to do this. It turns out this is a really difficult problem. The Nobel laureate in economics, William Sharpe, has said it was the most complex problem of his career. No wonder 40% of Americans are at risk for running out of money during retirement. And 70% of Americans state that money is their top source of stress. Not only do consumers need solid financial advice, but increasingly regulators are asking companies to provide it. The Department of Labor recently released a new rule that will require all advice on retirement accounts to be fiduciary level advice. But how will the companies provide it? The problem is very complicated. Our company, Dynamic Ideas Financial, has created a financial advice engine that can consider over 100 trillion different financial strategies to optimize every dollar earned, saved, and spent. We uncover hidden opportunities to maximize people's financial potential. We use our machine intelligence to place the right product at the right time to the right customer so that they can meet their financial goals and you can be their financial advice heroes. We're Dynamic Ideas Financial. Thank you.
Next up is Tom Suter from MobileGov, and he's a founder.
Hi, we recently launched a product called Absurdo out of MIT Lincoln Lab, and it was funded by the Department of Defense because the Department of Defense was having a problem that a lot of people have, their applications on these phones. The problem is if you go into the DoD, you might download Flappy Birds or some flashlight app. Admit it, you've done it. You've downloaded this. Well, this app might be asking for your GPS coordinates. It may be accessing your microphone. So if you go to the Department of Defense 5 days out of the week with a little bit of imagination from an adversary, they're going to figure out you go to the Department of Defense. They may figure out where you're going to the bars at night, and then you could potentially be compromised. So this is going to be a big thing in all these Internet of Things down the road, where you need to certify these applications to make sure that they are to the standards and they're not going to compromise your activity. So we are moving from mobile, and now we're going to IoT systems, and we use a big data approach to figure all that stuff out. Thank you.
Next up is Alok Tai from Tetra Science, and he's the CEO and co-founder.
Hi, my name is Alok Tai. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Tetra Science. We're a team from MIT and Harvard, and what we do is Internet of Things, but for science labs. So our mission is to do for the laboratory what Nest has done for the home. If you can imagine it, today, modern medicines and scientists who are at the cutting edge of innovation create new types of drugs, plastics, flavorings, food and beverage, basically in person, doing experiments and using pen and paper to capture data. What Tetra Science does is we connect the scientific instruments that they use day to day to the cloud, such that researchers can remotely monitor and control those instruments, receive alerts when they break, and automatically log the data. And so our mission is to connect these instruments to the cloud such that labs become more productive, more compliant, and can improve quality. We've been doing this for about 1.5 years now and work with some of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world like Roche and Vertex, top hospitals like MGH, and academic institutions like MIT and Harvard. So if you're interested in R&D as well as IoT, come talk to us. Thanks.
Great. Next up is Samson Timoner from Mythical Labs. He is a co-founder.
My name is Samson, and like many of you, I have a team distributed not only throughout the country, but throughout the world. And you know, when we're all in one room, we're big whiteboarders. We go up, we're drawing diagrams, we're brainstorming, we're planning, but we get on a video conference. It's really, really hard to do that. In fact, if you take your standard video conferencing tool and point it at the whiteboard, like Skype or Hangout, you really can't read it remotely. And we set out to solve this problem. So we created mycyclops.co. And what it is essentially a video conferencing tool built with analytics and machine vision on top of it. So if you go to your website, in a couple of seconds, you can start a video conference, point your laptop camera at your existing whiteboard, and you're up and going. So your remote viewer not only can see the whiteboard, but can interact with you, can add text, can add drawing, and when they're ready, they can take a snapshot, right? No more using your unsecured iPhone to take your secure data. It's going directly into your product management tool, like Slack, which has become a very popular one. If you're a big whiteboarder, please come to mycyclops.co and start whiteboarding on the video conference.
Hi, my name is Julie. I'm from Biometrics. I am co-founder and chief scientific officer at Biometrics. My co-founder and I started Biometrics with the goal of building a next generation job marketplace that incorporates, number one, the latest findings from neuroscience, and number two, the technology advancement made in the area of data science. Now, HR and recruiting are parts of the business world that are still stuck in the process of making decisions based on gut feelings, personal experience, and corporate belief systems. Now, rather than data. So in recent years, many departments have started using data, and we believe that this is the right approach and that this will revolutionize HR and recruiting. So those who did employ data-based methods in recruiting and hiring actually have seen, number one, increased or improvement in hiring process. Number two, improvement in or increased retention rates in employees. And finally, but not least, improvement in diversity in their workforce. Biometrics technology was built to address all these three things, and it will use objective data to assess people and to build models that will match people to jobs in the end, which effectively will remove some of the biases that are existing in the current recruiting process.
So I'm Christina Chi. I'm the co-founder and partner of a hedge fund out in Boston called Dome Yard LP. So we actually started based out of MIT and Harvard. So my two co-founders come from those two schools. So we're named after MIT Dome and Harvard Yard, which is where we got our name from. But basically, we started right out of college, unlike other hedge fund founders, and we've been able to utilize a lot of the technologies coming out of MIT to be able to create our fund, to create our strategies, and also today I'm really happy to say that the fund is actually full, pretty much almost full. So we're really happy about that. We've almost reached capacity, and now we're always willing to talk to people with opportunities, things like that. So I do encourage you guys to please reach out to me. I do have my business card, and we can keep in touch. Thank you so much.